Hello and good evening. Happy Sunday to you, or whenever you're listening or watching this thing on podcast platforms. It's time for AIWF Ringside Wrestling. Wrestling fans, I am Madman Carter, being joined by Commissioner Rick Diesel, AIWF Hall of Famer Brian Danzig, and allegedly tonight,
surprise guest.
Well, yeah, let's call it a surprise guest. We'll see if he shows up. But he was I'll just put it to you this way. He was very interested and taken aback by me calling the show last week, Houston, we have an officiating problem. So we might get some answers to some questions tonight. Who knows? We got the commissioners. Commissioner Kevin Phoenix has been sent an invite to this meeting. Whether or not he decides to show up and has comments on this. If he shows up and turns on his camera, I'll consider that a win, even if he does not answer any question. So right into it. Some big news in wrestling this week. We all talked about last week. Vince McMahon came back to the WWE. And sure enough, a few hours after we finished recording this program, before it was probably even up on all the platforms, Stephanie McMahon announces her resignation. What in the world do you guys think about that? You can go in any order. Go ahead.
Well, go, Brian. I'm sharing.
I'm not really surprised. I mean, I would, who knows what anybody would do in that situation, but I'm not surprised that she would do that, considering she thought that her and Triple H are going to be handed the reins and had all these big plans, and then for Vince just to come right back and snatch it away. Whether he says he's going to stay in the background, I mean, everybody knows that's not true.
It'll only last for a while.
Right. Yeah. He's going to start easing his way back in, and before you know it, he'll be back on television.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's what my heart says. I hope that doesn't happen, but my head is right in lockstep with you, Brian. I think that's what's going to happen. And I wonder if it's going to be, I hate to make the comparison, but like last year's Coca-Cola 600 was one of the greatest NASCAR races that's ever been run. But in the end, Denny Hamlin won it. And so after 4 hours of exciting action, the crowd let out a collective groan when he came out of that car because he's just not popular. And I wonder if Vince would get the same reaction when he comes back on TV. Like, there's Vince.
Well, there will be people who are Vince supporters who will be happy to see him back, but I think overall, most people, even Vince fans, were happy with the new direction the WWE was taking. And I mean, he said one of the ways he came back was like, if you don't let me back, I'm going to bankrupt the company. And everybody knew he wasn't bluffing. Mm-hmm. He'll crash it right into the ground if he's not the one in control, because that's the thing that's the most important to him. It's not about making the money, it's about the power. Mm-hmm. And he didn't like everybody saying, "Oh, it's so much better now that Vince is gone." He's like,
"I know, that had to drive him crazy.
I'll show you. I'm going to come back and make it even better." It's like, no, you're not.
No,
you have your mindset. He just has an old mindset that the new generation of wrestling has passed him by. That he doesn't want to change, and he doesn't want to admit it. That just his type of big slow guy, muscled up meathead. That's not what wrestling fans want now.
No.
Y'all don't see the irony in the fact that these particular three guys are sitting here talking about some old dude that can't get it out of his system.
I got no problem admitting I'll never be able to leave wrestling as long as I'm able to come to the shows. I ain't going nowhere.
I know that Vince is doing it for a totally different reason, but I mean, it's just so neat. Here we sit.
Yeah, and sometimes we've been known to gripe about the young guys.
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is what did Stephanie read between the lines? to step down. Did she step down before she got pushed out? Did she step down because maybe she thought it was going to be sold to Saudi Arabia? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody thought that there for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And she knew that if it got sold to Saudi Arabia, she was done.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, they would.
the women's
not
division will
deal-
be done. The women's
Oh, yeah.
division will be done. They'll kill it. You know.
Yeah. So, I mean, what did she read between the lines before she stepped down?
Well, I follow her on Twitter. She did have knee surgery this week, so I'm sure that played into it. She wasn't going to be able to be at work. Maybe she just had enough of the. Maybe she had enough of the bullshit before, 6 months ago when she stepped away, and she came back to do maintenance, until something happened, and then Dad came back, and she's just like, okay, well, I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Well,
Who knows?
None of the McMahons need the money, except maybe Shane. I don't know what he's been doing. I don't know if he's been getting a paycheck every week. He could be,
Well, his wife's extremely wealthy.
okay.
And he built the equivalent of Netflix over in China several years ago. It's their main movie and TV show streaming service over there. He was responsible for that. And so I'm sure he's still getting a paycheck from that. So, and he did work with the UFC for a little while, I believe, but I don't know that he's involved with that. I don't think he's involved
mixed martial arts. Yeah, I know he had some kind of, I think he had some kind of mixed martial arts promotion. I don't know if it was affiliated with the UFC or not, but
okay.
it was either MMA or kickboxing or both. I'm not really sure.
And I think the Business Journal says he's going to be sued.
What's that?
I think I've been reading in the business journals that the people that he ousted are looking into suing Vince because of the misappropriation of funds and the way he came back in might not be like legal. Is what I've been reading.
I read somewhere some of the stockholders
Right.
going after him or something.
Well, good luck, because I've said it before and I'll say it again, and you can call me unpatriotic if you want to, but the American justice system does not work on rich people. They get away, I'm sorry, OJ got away with it, Trump got away with it. If there's anything illegal that Joe Biden did with documents, he'll get away with it. I mean,
the Chrisleys didn't get away with it.
No, they did not.
What did the Chrisleys get in trouble for? I hadn't been
following.
Tax fraud.
Oh, yeah. Really?
Well, tax fraud, yeah.
Very hard to get. The tax fraud will get you.
Yeah, but they were just peasant millionaires. They're not billionaires like Donald Trump.
Yeah, they're not the elite.
Todd Chrisley's going to do so well in prison.
You think they'll actually send him to prison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he get? Like
12 years.
12 years. Yeah, the wife got like 7, didn't she?
They get 12 years to get. I don't know. But,
I think his wife got less.
Yeah.
I think she got like 7 or 8 years.
Maybe they got 7 and 9.
But wait a minute.
She got 9.
What happened to equality?
What about it?
She should get what he gets. That's what
maybe
the chick with blue hair said.
Well, maybe she
didn't.
The
video I watched.
Maybe she didn't, steal as much from the federal government as he did. I don't know.
He's a man. They're just giving it more to him.
He could be the head of household. If he's head of household.
Well,
don't get me started.
I tried.
I can tell you this, friends. If you ever get a letter from the IRS, the best thing to do is call them up and get it settled quickly. So,
Yeah.
I scan it and email it to my tax lady.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, again, the elite and their tax ladies and whatnot. I'm just kidding.
I'm so elite.
Yeah, I my fancy dance tax lady is TurboTax, because when I still lived in Martinsville, I went to a tax lady up there, Rose Tax Service in Collinsville, guys. Free plug, they're awesome. And I said, can I come around there and look at your software like that? And she's like, sure, honey. And she flips the monitor around and she's using TurboTax. So when I moved down here, I was just like, well, ain't no sense of finding a tax lady. I know how to do it. So I hadn't ended up in prison or gotten any angry letters yet. So,
Well, now you've just outed yourself on a podcast though, so
Yeah.
be ready.
Well, we're lucky not many people watch it. So
Hey, I'm not worried because I don't keep my skeletons in the closet. I keep mine hanging on the wall behind me.
That's right. But yes, I'm trying to look behind. I put Wahoo back up this week. So
Yes.
but anyway, so look, guys, we've got a ton to get to. Let me go ahead and see if we can't get the slideshow going here. I worked on it this afternoon. Let me see if I can find it. Did I take it down? No, it's here somewhere. Just hang tight, everybody. Here we go.
Yeah, Rick, you're right. As far as needing the money, none of the McMahons need any money. Could shut the WWE's doors right now, the network, the live shows, everything. They could shut everything completely down and live comfortably, probably for the next 2 or 3 generations.
Yeah.
And not have to
pride.
work, do anything. Yeah, it's pride and ego.
Yes.
That's what it's about. It's wanting to be in control.
But another thing too, if you've ever met anybody that's really successful, really wealthy or whatever, I have over the years, and I've asked them questions, and I've heard people just ask the same thing on TV. They're like, what's the secret to your success? How did you become so wealthy? And they always say, well, the first thing you got to do is love what you do. You got to find something that you really enjoy doing. And I think for a lot of people in WWE, and maybe not Vince, but I know Vince likes it because he works like 15 hours a day. But you think about like the people like Charles Robinson and some of the people that have been there for just many, 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 many years to put up with that grind for so long. You got to love it.
Oh, yeah.
It can't be about money.
Oh, no, definitely not.
No, there's aspects of wrestling that it's never worth the money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's never worth the money.
Really, with any job, there's really no such thing as a dream job. Like, even, musicians who love playing music, that's their life. There are days when they get up in the morning and like, I do not want to play this concert in front of all these people. I just don't feel like it today. I'm tired. I don't want to do it, but they have to drag themselves out there and jump around and play their songs, even when they don't feel like it. Because
unless you're Alice Cooper.
Yeah. Well,
and for some reason,
what is it?
They're welcome to come and teach my 25 kids, and I'll switch with them. So
it's just, even if you do love your job, sometimes you get burnout on it. And
boo-hoo.
I'm not saying you should feel sorry for them. I'm saying you shouldn't envy them much because they have their bad days too.
That's like I said about Alice Cooper. He just finished a tour and he announced another one for 2023. And that dude's like 75 years old. I've seen him like 4 times.
If they come through here this time, I've got to see him. If he's still touring,
he's coming to Charlotte or Raleigh.
Oh, well,
is he?
I ain't going all the way to Raleigh to see him.
This last one, he must have added some dates. When I was looking the other day, he hadn't had no North Carolina dates yet.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't know.
Oh, anytime he comes within driving distance, I go see him.
Wow.
I don't know why. It's like a tradition.
Well, I mean, it must be good. I mean, I'm spoiled. The PNC Pavilion down here is like 5 miles from my house. So, I don't have to drive far. The only problem is Charlotte, it's a weird market because, they play like New York and LA and stuff. The big bands do on the weekends. And we always get like Tuesday and Wednesday night concerts.
Yeah. We saw LA Guns and Faster Pussycat recently. And
did you go to Charlotte to see them?
They put on the best concert I've ever seen.
That was on a Tuesday night, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to go to that.
I seen ahead.
I've seen them both, but I seen them like back in the 90s, when they were younger.
Right.
I was going to say LA Guns was an 80s band, right?
Yeah.
They're still doing
and they're still rocking better than anybody I've ever seen.
Wow.
And the first time I seen Alice Cooper was 1987.
Wow. Alice Cooper. Yeah, I need to go see Alice Cooper. I think Jakey would enjoy that. It'd be a lot of fun.
It's an amazing show, even to this day.
You know what, though? I did ask her about going to see Gwar sometime, and she just does not want to get covered in blood. But she said she thought it'd be fun, but she doesn't want to get, drenched in freaking blood. So
I take my kids to see them.
Far enough.
Huh?
Set back far enough, you could probably avoid the blood.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
I can't get up close when I go see them anymore because it's just too violent, and I'm old. But I have took all of my kids to see Gwar and Alice Cooper. Well, all my kids but one. I said Trista went with Alice Cooper, but she didn't go see Gwar.
Gwar is pretty intense. I saw some of the videos they made back in the 80s or 90s, and I was just like, wow, okay,
Yeah, man.
Justin Flash has joined us. Justin Flash has published some very interesting videos to Facebook. He was at WWE. We were just talking about WWE in Roanoke last night. Front row, man.
Yeah, man, that was a blast.
It looked like you had a good time, man. Your kids were drawing the ire of some of those wrestlers. Boy, Austin Theory did not like your children whatsoever, did he not?
He really focused a lot on Eli, man. That was a night to remember for him, definitely, especially being his first live show. And he's where I just came back to the wrestling scene last year. He's become a huge wrestling fan, so he's watching it every chance he gets now.
Wow.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah, but I got to give him credit, man. He got a lot closer to Austin. He got a lot closer to Austin Theory, or than I would have at that age. I remember Arn Anderson just pointed his finger at me one time when I was about 10 years old, and made my blood run cold. And I sat there, didn't make a peep for the rest of the show. So,
well, Arn Anderson's a little more intimidating than Austin Theory. No offense to Theory, but Arn Anderson, if Arn Anderson pointed at me right now, I would sit down and shut up. So,
oh, mercy. Anyway, let me go ahead and read some announcements real quick here. You can see on your screen if you're watching on the YouTube or on Facebook, but for you audio folks, we're putting the headlock on high advertising prices. You can get your ad on this show, a 30-second to 1-minute read, which I'll demonstrate throughout. For only $10 a month, or if you'd like just like promoting a wrestling show and you want us to give it a mention like one time, $6, man, for a week. And you're going to be up on all different kind of platforms. We do video commercials as well. All you need to do is reach out to us at AIWF20@hotmail.com, or you can reach out to me via social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I hadn't added my Twitter handle here because I don't really know if I want to open that can of worms. But anyway, AIWF20@hotmail.com, and we're on all these platforms, save for the Roku. We've got one show up on the Roku, but we are looking to add more. But yeah, on all these platforms, each and every week, and for only $10 a month, you can be a part of it. Let's see. And of course, Instagram, you can search us on AIWF Mid Atlantic Wrestling on Instagram and Diesel247. And we try to keep our breaking news there. You'll see it on Facebook first, but it's usually pretty quick to follow on Instagram. All right, fellas, here it comes this Saturday night. It's the big one at Veterans Park. What's the exact date? September the 21st.
21st.
I mean, January 21st.
January 21st.
Time capsule. All right, big 8-man elimination tag match. Justin Flash, you're involved. A lot of bad blood here. The Sioux Dudes with Attitudes and Ty Tyson are your teammates against Kevin Phoenix, Cochran III, Benny Conley, Kason Kane, and last but not least, his name is escaping me right now. What in the world? I worked too hard today. Don Pete is going to be on that team. Justin Flash, your thoughts? These 8-man elimination tags can be sort of like a gauntlet match. They can last forever. They do have a tendency to go on for usually around 30 to 45 minutes, these things, because so many falls have to take place. But your thoughts going into this big matchup?
It's going to be interesting. First of all, Fighters Club is involved.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't going to say much about Season's Beatings, but
no, say it.
But
hey, you give him a run for his money, man.
I mean, what can you do when you're facing somebody in a one-on-one match, but it's not a one-on-one match?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I mean, technically it was 1-on-4.
If you count the referee.
If you count the ref.
Yeah.
I mean, I was begging and pleading with him to give me a normal count, but he acted like he was calling it right down the middle, and man, I can't say much on that.
It's unfortunate. Well, I still remember like when we were getting ready to start the match, and you looked at me and said, "Boy, the odds are really stacked against me tonight." And I
told you.
I remember my blood running cold. I was just like, man, he's like, boy, I got to give you credit, man. You knew you were walking into a hornet's nest, but you went ahead and just was like, F it, and went in there, man.
I mean, that's what you got to do. I knew I was going to have to watch my back the whole time. It was a matter of time. I was like, well, when are they going to try something? And I just wasn't prepared, and I couldn't beat the odds.
No, I mean, you can't expect to beat 5 people. I mean, we're sitting here with 2 guys on this panel who used the odds in their favor many a time over the years. So, I mean,
I'll give credit where credit is due. Jack is a great competitor. I don't think he needs the help, but for whatever reason, he's getting the help. And I guess he wants to make sure he secures his spot on the top. I don't know. I really think he ought to reconsider his options as far as being a star in the AIWF.
Well, and now we see that Kevin Phoenix Cochran III is aligning himself with Fighters Club. And referee Timmy, I see you there. I'm going to get to you shortly. Just bear with us.
Where do you go from here? I mean, you know what I'm saying? If ex-commissioner Dave, might as well go ahead and put it out there.
Yeah, he's out.
If he had took control of the company at Seasons Beatings, maybe with his new, thought process, maybe he was willing to do something with the Fighters Club. But Phoenix the third there, 3 birds. I'm gonna start calling him 3 birds.
3 birds.
Phoenix the third.
Phoenix
3
the third.
birds.
Yeah, 3 birds.
Didn't work. Oh well. Anyway, I don't know if he's gonna be quite as willing to deal with the Fighters Club, and they can keep things going just like they are.
Yeah, and
technically.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, where do you go from here? But that's not the only thing that's happening. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got some new faces and some old favorites coming to this show this weekend. Kay Holiday, who we understand has wrestled in the AIWF Crazy 8 tournament in Mount Airy before, but I think he's going to be pretty much fairly brand new to the Mid Atlantic audience. Is that correct? Do I have the?
Yes,
okay.
He has been in the Crazy 8 before, but he's going to be, like I said, new to the regular fans at the Mid Atlantic.
Yeah, and Jordan Holt is going to be coming back. We hadn't seen Jordan in a while. Matt Anderson issued an open challenge for the television title, which I thought was great, and that has been accepted by Cooper Housley. I saw a video on that. Maybe we'll see if we can't play that for you here in just a little while. But that ought to be a fantastic match. Cooper Housley, impressive young competitor, and Josh Strong is going to be with us again. And correct me if I'm wrong, but did not Josh Strong team with Nate Diamond at one time?
Yes.
So
Josh Strong comes through just every once in a while just to inject a little insanity. You know what I'm saying? Because he has so much energy, whether you like him or not. I mean, he's like a lit firecracker all the time.
Yes, he is. He can go, ladies and gentlemen. So it's definitely worth the price of admission just to see that. And so there was a certain individual who got all up in his feelings about not being included in the Instagram post that we put together a few days ago, because all the promotional materials had not come out and I could only post what I had. So I wanted to give him his own slide tonight. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we will be seeing the return of the one and the only Pink Princess, Caden Pierre, this weekend at Veterans Park. So Caden, I hope it makes you feel better. You see the other guys, I shoved 4 on the one slide, but you got your own slide because I didn't want you to feel like you had been slighted. And I've got rumors of who his opponent is going to be. Can't announce it officially yet, ladies and gentlemen. All I can say is you better come to the building, because it's going to be, if it goes through what they're trying to put together here, Rick Diesel, Brian Danzig, this is going to be interesting. Have you seen his social media?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as I know, that match is set in stone. Everybody shows up. Everybody does what they're supposed to do. Stars line up. That match is signed.
All right. So, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be very interesting, to say the very least, because it was my understanding that the first time this guy came around, Caden Pierre was under the impression like that it was a gimmick infringement type of thing.
Yeah.
So, I know who you're talking about now.
I can't remember. I can't remember the guy's name, but I remember thinking, "Nah, Caden. I mean, you're very athletic cheerleader type that can jump, flat-footed, 8 feet straight up in the air. This guy's not that kind of athlete. So, but I mean, I guess I could see the comparisons with all the pink and he walking a fine line there. So I don't know.
It'll be like a cat fight.
Maybe one of those stray Caden Pierre elbows that can smash cartilage in the nose will get away from him this time. He's been known to do that a time or two. So we'll see how that goes down this weekend. So, all right, real quick, let me do some ads, and then we're going to talk to our special guest, referee Timmy. Premier Auto Detailing is our newest sponsor to the show. They can make that old jalopy look like it just rolled off the showroom floor. Great thing about Premier Auto Detailing, if you need them to come to your house to detail your car, they can do that. But they're also good if you've got like a used car lot, you've got fleet needs, you need to get cars cleaned up. They handle that type of business as well. All you need to do is give them a call at 336-883-5722. That number again, 336-883-5722. For those of you listening on podcast, the rest of you can see it there, but give them a call at Premier Auto Detailing and tell them that AIWF Ringside Wrestling sent you. Also, T's Creations Custom Apparel. They make custom-made t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, koozies, or tumblers, whatever you want to call, and the AIWF Capital Punishment Gang Wars t-shirt. Yes, sir, you can be as cool as Rick Diesel posing with David Crockett with this new t-shirt. $18 for small to large, and then anything 2XL and up is $20, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so check the website for that, but you can reach out on T's Creations and message them and let you know this special edition Capital Punishment Gang Wars t-shirt will be available very soon. So get in your pre-orders now. Also, and here's some other designs that they have. You can reach T's Creations at tscreations22.com or facebook.com/T's Creations. I think we're going to have the weekly appearance of Rick Diesel's dog here coming up. So watch your screens closely. tscreations22.com, facebook.com/T's Creations. Reach out to them now. And again, tell them that AIWF Ringside Wrestling sent you. Rick Diesel, I thought we were going to take a look at the dog right there, but did not happen.
No, not tonight. Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe later.
Maybe later.
We
All
shall
right.
see.
So referee Timmy has joined us. Timmy, we just always call you Timmy at the shows. How would you like us to address you tonight in our conversation, sir?
Let me go ahead and stop you right there. Referee Timmy was a name given to me by our piss poor former commissioner, Dave.
Okay.
It was given to me specifically to distinguish myself, to differentiate myself from that fat hillbilly that runs the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You will now start calling me TW Rose. Thank you very much, Mr. Carter.
All right, TW Rose.
All this time I thought it was because he was a referee and his name was Timmy.
Well, I guess we got two referees named Tim Stone. But anyway, so what the controversy is about,
Get it, man.
TW Rose reached out to me because of our title of our program last week, Houston, we have an officiating problem. And for those of you who did not see the show, we were debating the fact that, the Fighters Club has Dalen in their pocket. Justin Flash, you've seen this. If Dalen is not refereeing a Fighters Club match, he calls it right down the middle. We've seen him do that in the past. But
I have noticed.
But now, we've got this situation that has happened with Ty Tyson and Benny Conley here. I want to show you a little bit of footage here. Some of this has not been released to the public, but I'm going to show it to you. Let me see if I can get it right here.
We're running out of honest refs, man.
Yes, we are. And that is what is concerning to me. So let's take a look here. And we're going to roll this footage. And we'll take a look at it here together. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So take a look. Now, this is the match for the commissionership between Ty Tyson and Benny Conley. Referee Dalen is in there. They've already taken out one referee, and he's calling this right down the middle. 1, 2, and look at this. Kevin Phoenix.
I want to address this in a minute, Matt. After this.
What, Kevin Phoenix attacking a referee?
Yes. And then this Saturday night, teaming up with the people that referees in their pocket.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that aspect.
Yeah.
All right. So here comes Commissioner Dave in. I guess he figured if we're going to throw the rule book out the window, let's do it. He goes after Kevin Phoenix Cochran III. That's a mouthful, man. I'm telling you. And so I was acting, you have to practice that, like radio DJs stand in front of the mirror. Kevin Phoenix Cochran
doesn't he know that? Doesn't he know that the trend now is to shorten your name to go by one name or initials? MJF and
Three birds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then he goes and elongates his name, going against the trend.
All right, so Ty Tyson and Benny Conley, referee Dalen's out, the original referee, that guy from West Virginia with the glasses. It's a great referee too. Was taken out minutes before this. Now check it out. They continue to wrestle. I mean, because they know what's on the line. They hadn't heard no bell. So they're still fighting it out. I mean, they know 2 referees have been taken out, but they can't stop fighting each other. Ty Tyson hits a nice double arm. Well, not quite a double arm DDT. Got a single arm. And there's Kevin Phoenix Cochran III is back at ringside. Nobody knows where Dave is. Here comes another referee. There's referee TW Rose 1, 2. And he stops.
You see the look on the face?
Look at him smiling.
Crowd?
Yes. I can't believe it. Look at this. And Ty Tyson can't believe it.
Yeah. Ty's shocked.
Referee TW Rose, who was, you can see the steam coming off Ty Tyson's head. He was that angry.
Yeah.
That smile's gone.
Yeah, that smile's gone. He knows he's about to get it. And Ty Tyson is just, don't think he can believe it. Wait a minute. There's Jeff Paul. There's Logan Quindell. And here comes a whole herd of jackals. And they just paparazzi. And they just all team up. Kevin Phoenix Cochran III gets in there. And look at this. Then the referee starts putting the boots to Ty Tyson. Unbelievable. And as you can imagine, it just goes south from there. So I'm not permitted to release the entire bunch of the footage yet. That is coming.
Show coming soon to the Roku channel.
Yes, it is.
Eventually.
And if not, I'm going to negotiate when I can release my full videos.
There you go.
Within the next 60 or 90 days, hopefully. But one way or the other, fans, you're going to be able to see it. I wanted to show you that much because I don't like telling the fans about stuff that happens without being able to present the video footage so they can make up their own mind. But TW Rose, I guess the obvious question is, what in the world are you thinking? Why would you throw away your integrity to align yourself with a character like Kevin Phoenix Cochran III?
I mean, well, I posted a little bit about it on a recent post that I shared for the AIWF Mid Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because Kevin Phoenix sees potential in me.
Mm-hmm.
He respects me. And for that, I will be eternally grateful to that man.
Isn't he the same guy that made you referee?
I know I said that I was going to have answers for you, but the reason I'm all dressed up is I recently just came back from a meeting with my lawyers and Mr. Kevin Phoenix Cochran III himself.
Mm-hmm.
And they advised me that I am allowed to disclose any information on why until the 21st.
Until the 21st. That's an interesting legal paradigm we've got ourselves into, gentlemen. What could be so hot that it can't be disclosed now, but has to wait till the 21st?
The damn teaser. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure they want to get their, ducks in a row, their story all aligned, and
Yeah,
present it at the event on the 21st.
Yeah, because if you're going to tell lies to a large group of people, it's good to have your story straight before you walk back in there. I mean, this is a strange set of circumstances right here.
Well, and we all know what a showman Kevin is. He likes to do things, big. So I'm sure he's got something planned for the 21st that he can throw out there. You know what I'm saying? He wants to make a production out of it. I'm sure he does.
Yes.
Well,
wasn't TW Rose the ref that got it stitches from Kevin Phoenix
From
to deal
Kevin
with the steel?
Phoenix.
Deal with the
yeah,
steel?
didn't he? Yeah.
Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I think that's the thumbnail on the post deal with the steel show is Kevin Phoenix ramming TW Rose's head into the steel cage. Also, TW Rose, isn't Kevin Phoenix the same guy that made you referee a match in a pink tutu one time not too long ago?
That was different Kevin.
That was a different Kevin. Oh, that was Kevin.
That was Kavana.
Sexy Kavina. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Still, I just remember a very, very, very violent end to deal with the steel.
Maybe a little bit of Stockholm syndrome, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be. And for those of you in Rio Linda, Brian, would you like to explain what Stockholm syndrome is?
That is in a extreme situation, like a hostage takeover, like a hostage situation. It started from a bank robbery in Stockholm, Sweden, where the hostage and the hostages started depending on the hostage takers, the bank robbers, and they actually started siding with the bank robbers against the police, and felt that they were their protectors, and so it's just like this this shift in attitude with when captors can actually form a bond with their captors.
Marriage.
So or another comparison, maybe this is correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I don't know. I know there's Game of Thrones fans out there, but if you remember back when Ramsay Bolton kidnapped Theon Greyjoy and just beat him half to death until he convinced him that his name was Reek, and he forgot his old identity and everything. That's kind of similar to it. So it's not always hostage and hostage taker. It's any kind of extreme situation where like that. It applies to different situations. Clearly TW Rose is not tied to a crucifix and being mutilated like in Game of Thrones, but it's definitely a strange situation. So
it's something where someone who attacked someone very brutally and then start showering them with praise and telling them that they have potential and that they that they're going to take them under their wing, and and it just makes it a little bit easier sometimes, which doesn't really make sense to somebody outside that dynamic, but until you've gone through it, you can't really say. It's easy to look at it from the outside, but when you're in a situation like that, it's completely different.
It's like therapy.
Well, Brian should know.
Dr. Danzig is in.
Brian's an expert because he's perpetrated these type of things on young wrestlers before in his past.
I have. I've said before, like my last iteration of the family, I chose not to have wrestlers to accompany, to be part of the family. I had it be a couple of idiots who, I mean,
for lack of a better term.
Yeah, God love them.
God love them,
But they
Yeah.
weren't trained wrestlers, and they weren't that bright. They were people that I could easily manipulate, and I knew that if they
not
started,
me,
no,
not me.
no, my two lackeys,
Flunkies.
yeah, I knew that if they started bucking up on me a little bit, I could handle them, and it happened once, and I handled them, and after that they stayed in line, and because it's like with the Fighters Club. I said, with any faction, when you have a group of highly trained wrestlers who know what they're doing, those egos are going to clash eventually, and somebody's going to start talking, hey, why aren't I the leader? Why aren't they listening to my ideas? And it's going to fall apart. You got to have in order to have a true leader, you've got to have somebody who is up here and the subordinates are down here.
Well, TW Rose, you have heard the advice from some old guys that have done this type of thing before. Is there anything that you'd like to say to rebut those statements right now?
Well, Mr. Danzig, being you want to compare this whole little thing to how you're doing, are you trying to call me ignorant, sir?
No. Like I said, the different situations, that's why I said that somebody who is suffering from Stockholm syndrome is not necessarily someone who, it's easy to say that they're being manipulated from the outside, but until you're actually in that situation, anybody can potentially be put in that situation. Obviously, from the way you're talking, you're a very intelligent young man, but like I said, I do think you're being manipulated, but at the same time, smart people can be manipulated. So, but yeah, like I said, I'm not insulting your intelligence, but at the
Kevin
same time,
Phoenix Cochran the third would not manipulate me.
Okay. I'm glad we were
See,
we're talking about the same Kevin.
Right, he blew that whole statement you just made out of the water with 3 words.
He would not manipulate me.
Spoke too soon.
And Mr. Carter, as you stated, a man that doesn't know his name, I knew my name. I was not allowed to be given my name until I aligned myself with Kevin Phoenix Cochran III.
Well,
he's allowing me to have my name.
Well, I'm sorry that Commissioner Dave put you through that. I mean, you're definitely not the first person.
Former Commissioner Dave.
Yep, you're right. You're certainly not the first person he's ever pissed off, though. So I don't want you to feel like you're lonely in that room, because he's done a lot of that over the years. What would you say to those fans in Mount Airy that are maybe, I know you're going to make a big announcement this Saturday night, and I'm not trying to spoil that. I don't want, I want that to be as big and as grandiose as you and Kevin Phoenix Cochran III want it to be. But what would you say to those fans that were there and their jaws hit the ground when you stopped at 3 count?
I know, wasn't it hilarious? They even said 3. They was 1, 2, 3. Oh no, what did he do? It was humorous.
Not his job.
Yeah. I don't think those fans thought it was very humorous.
For so many years, for the years I've been in this company, the fans, they booed me for doing my job.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the fans hate officials in every
The fans
sport.
didn't care. That's what I'm trying to say. The fans never cared.
But they care now.
So why do they care now?
Yeah, they care now.
Yep.
You're gonna
Why do
find
they
out
care
how
now?
much they care now.
Yeah. You're gonna find out. Sure bit. Oh man. Well, TW Rose, I thank you so much. I know you're limited into what you can say. I don't know if you want to hang with us for the rest of the program, or what your legal limitations are or whatever, but I have another piece of footage I want to show you guys. Now, it's just been bothering me that we talked about it, like how awesome the women's division is. And I'm telling you, more footage on that Clara Jada Stone ladder match is coming, folks. It's coming. They ain't going to be tonight, but it's coming. Over on the YouTube channel, premiering at 9 o'clock tonight. That's on January 15th, 9 p.m. There's a highlight reel set to some pretty gangster ass metal music. Brilliantly produced by the AIWF, by the way, that's going to give you a taste of that. So I encourage you to check out the YouTube channel tonight. But we've got all these wonderful people, these women coming in through the AIWF that know how to fight and lay it in or whatever. And then we have a situation that happened in the Logan Quindell Cobalt the Crusader match that just absolutely drives me crazy, where somebody brings a valet to the ring and they end up being a detriment. Let me show you what I'm talking about. We'll take a look at this. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes.
All right. So you see referee Dalen calling one down the middle. Logan Quindell outside the ring. There is the lady with Cobalt the Crusader. I don't have the cards with me. I can't remember her name. She's the Inquisitor, though. Look, and he grabs her. She looks helpless. She doesn't know what to do. He pushes her into him. Cobalt turns around. Pow! Right in the kisser. I'd like to see that again. Watch this. This is a good right hand. I'm sorry. Watch. Pushes her in. She obviously has no business being at ringside. And pow. I mean, that is like a solid right hand.
Shot.
If anybody ever had one coming, boy, that guy did.
Looked like a fight at a Comic-Con.
Did.
The elf and the bard.
Oh boy.
You all right, man?
I'm gonna start breathe, Mr. Carter.
Oh my God, Brian, and your one-liners, man. I'm telling you. So I kind of wanted to speak to that a little bit. Now, we know people, come around the wrestling business and everything, and they see people with experience having a good time at it. Rick Diesel, you've been around for a long time. Brian Danzig, so have I. Justin Flash, you've been around a long time. TW Rose, you've been around several years. But sometimes these people show up, and I think that they don't realize that when they're standing at ringside that they're pretty much in the middle of a fight, even if they're outside the ring. And then something like that happens. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but what message would the experienced players in our panel like to give people about that have no training coming to ringside with friends and family and that type of thing?
If you come with your boyfriend to the show, just sit in the crowd or the car.
Well, as a person who has been on the outside of a ring during a match, you have to be prepared, first of all, to either be in it or out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to either be prepared to be a part of the match or to get out of the way if the match comes near you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you have to be prepared. You have to be on alert at all times. You have to, and so
that's what I was noticing. Like, they were sitting there battling, and she was just kind of frozen there right in between them, like, which way do I go?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think really, though, that could also be chalked up to inexperience, because I mean, I don't know how old that young lady is, but she looked pretty young to me. Mm-hmm. So it could be that she wants to be in the wrestling business and wants to, maybe she even wants to train to be a wrestler and wants to get some experience in front of an audience and near a ring. And like I said, it could just be a simple thing of inexperience. Mm-hmm. Like Reagan said, just not getting out of the way when she should have. So, who knows, maybe, in a year or so, maybe she will have the experience. Maybe she'll learn from that experience, and, and maybe she'll eventually be a positive asset, for the guy who she comes out to the ring with, because valets can be a positive thing for a wrestler. They can be distract the referee, distract the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just one of those things. That situation, that where she was definitely a detriment to her guy, but also at the same time, it was inexperience on his part. Once she was no longer, once she got pushed toward him, put her out of the way. At that point, he kept his back to his opponent. Turn immediately around. She's fine. You need to stop talking to her. Your opponent is still behind you. And that's one of the cardinal rules in wrestling. It doesn't matter if a bell has sounded or not. You do not turn your back on your opponent ever. And that was in the middle of the match.
And that gave Logan plenty of time to wind up that shot.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
And it wasn't long after that he finished
have,
that match too.
Right. If he would have turned around immediately after he pushed her into him, if he would have immediately have pushed, pulled her out of the way and immediately turned around, then he may not have had an opportunity to throw that punch. But yeah, he gave us plenty of time. So it was kind of both of them were kind of to blame on that one. And like I said, both of them look pretty young. So I would chalk it up to inexperience.
But I've seen experienced people, you gotta always know where you're at. Like sometimes when there's large groups of people outside the ring, or even just one or two, you have to make sure you know where you're at, because sometimes you got to make sure you're not blocking people's views too. Like not just in like this situation, but in other situations. Like you always, if you're out there, you're out there with your man, or you're out there with your group, or you're out there with your, whoever. You just, like, one of the finesses of being a manager or a valet or whatever is knowing where you're at and knowing where you shouldn't be at. And
you should be you should be in your wrestler's corner is where you need to be.
Indigo the Inquisitor, I believe is her name. Rick Diesel, you look like you got something on the edge of your tongue that you want to say, but you're debating whether you should say it or not.
Well, who's noticed over the years and a lot here recently that you're getting more and more? Is it just me, or is anybody else noticing that there's becoming this trend of, and like I said earlier, the girlfriend wanting to go out to the ring with the boyfriend?
That's
no training, very little. She just like, well, if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna be a part of it. I'm tired of riding with you, and you get to have all the fun. And I'll throw it out there. I'm a kayfabe breaking son of a bitch. But anyway, I mean,
it happened.
Am I the only one noticing this trend?
No, I think that's been. I think that's been forever.
I think it may happen more. It may happen more often now, but I think it has happened. I've definitely seen it my whole career.
It wasn't as bad with us though.
It wasn't
back in the day, back in the 90s. I mean,
yeah, but we did have incidences.
I'm not
gonna say, but
don't open that can of worms, Reagan. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
I'm not gonna say names. I'm gonna say two certain girls who came out at a Halloween show who I will not say their names because they are evil, and who wouldn't let us didn't want us to show their footage at that Halloween show. They just came out randomly that night.
Yeah.
And that was
yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, well, wait a minute. I remember that now.
Yes. Yes.
But I mean, but Reagan and Ron, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We had girls on a regular basis. Every once in a while somebody'd have a weak moment. But we had girls on a regular basis that could hold their own out there.
But then we also had some who did it, as one that me and my friends may have called Black Tooth Rat, who came out with somebody who was not and was terrible, who came out with who was So we had you're just not remembering.
I'm trying to think of that.
Female mind, I remember.
Oh yeah, because I mean everybody knows that all women secretly hate each other. So I mean, I can't take credit for that. That's a Jerry the King Lawler one-liner, but I firmly believe it.
I could go through a list of valets that we had.
You're
that
talking
were
about
pointless and girlfriends.
I'm trying to remember the good ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, let me do it. Let me give a shout out to the good ones. And one of the best valets who was never a female wrestler, but is still involved with the wrestling company. And anytime she comes in the building in front of the crowd, I always introduce her. Amanda Essence. By God, when she was with the Red Scorpion, you better not fall down on her side of the ring, or you better cover your eyes because she was coming for him. She was an eye gouging motherfucker, man. She slapped and hit. This girl is 90 pounds soaking wet. And I mean, she would hit the wrestlers and cheap shot them. I mean, she did not care. She sometimes would come to the ring wearing the dress and heels and a purse with a brick in it and whack people over the head. I mean,
she'd run up who was I heard somebody say one time, she'd run up them like a spider monkey.
Yeah.
And then Ronnie, and then let's see. I can't think of
I just remember people sitting in the crowd. They would come and they'd buy a ticket, and you just knew that they was waiting for Pagan and Ronnie to just run head on into each other. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody might die.
I think I might have kidnapped her once.
Yeah,
you did, but it didn't hurt my feelings none, because at Fright Night in 1998, Ronnie tried to shove a broomstick someplace that broomsticks are not supposed to go on me. You know, I mean,
and she set me on fire.
Yes, she was bad news, that's for sure. But all I'm saying, ladies, if you're going to come to the ringside, get some training, be prepared, know some self-defense, man, because you're going to get hurt. And I'm telling you, Miss Inquisitor, if that would have been Clara out there at ringside, that would have not ended well for you. I mean, you'd have been.
I would have threw a back elbow in Logan's face.
Yeah.
I mean, so
at least one. At least.
Yeah, just be careful out there. Goodness sakes. All right, let's see here. Let me pay a few more bills real quick, and we'll keep it moving. Let's see here. Slideshow. All right. And of course, we're talking about our friends at Branch Management. They were our first sponsor here at Ringside Wrestling. We absolutely love them to death. They're a tree service that operates in the Mount Airy, Surry County in North Carolina. They can help you with branches that are maybe too close to structures, normal pruning, or complete tree removal. They offer very competitive rates, free estimates, and are here to serve you. You may also be eligible for a $100 referral bonus from Branch Management. And you can, and of course, they do free estimates. All you need to do is dial 336-648-9282 for the tree service, or 336-320-8994. That's for the tree service. Again, I'll give you those numbers one more time. 336-648-9282 or 336-320-8994. They also do landscaping, general contracting, and pressure washing, gutter cleaning. Need some handyman work done around the house? Well, they can handle that for you, but that's a different number. So take a look. If you're listening, I'll give it to you twice. You may have to back it up, write it down. But for the general landscaping, pressure washing, gutter cleaning, that type of stuff, 336-648-2487, 336-648-2487. And I know some of you out there procrastinating, thinking those wet leaves are going to blow out of the gutter before springtime. I got news for you. They ain't. Excuse me. You need to call Branch Management. Call them right away. And our most delicious sponsor, T's Treats. They offer not only the best concessions in wrestling, prove me wrong, best concessions in wrestling, without a doubt. You can tell by the line at the food truck at every AIWF Mid Atlantic show that statement is true, and you need to check them out. But they also go all over the place. They're based in Mount Airy, and they work mostly in the Mount Airy area, but they got some of the best hot dogs, man, milkshakes, decadent desserts like these funnel cakes with pieces of freaking cheesecake on them, milkshakes. They even got pizza now. They got mini donuts. They got it all. And it's very affordable. This is not food truck season really this time of year, But if you'd like to book them at some events you've got going on, give them a call at 336-755-8204. That's 336-755-8204. Or you can find them on Facebook.com/Tease Treats. Rick Diesel, does Tease Treats have any dates going on this week?
Well, they'll be at the show Saturday night, and then we've got a school function. I got a school function on Friday.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what school. They don't tell me these things, but I do know. But I mean, that'd be a private event anyhow. So.
Yeah. So, but if you'd like to book Tease Treats, reach out to them on Facebook.com or at the number. I'll give it to you one more time: 336-755-8204. My favorite hot dog.
But they are getting some bookings coming up for spring, so get ready.
Yep. We'll have a lot more listings for you as we get close to the springtime. So,
hey Matt, can I start some trouble?
of course, please do. I was just about to say, I'm out of topics. I've covered everything that I want to cover.
Well, I got something that I want to bring. So I seen a post on Facebook the other day, and if there's a certain pink-haired gentleman that is possibly in the comment section watching it on the Facebook page right now, who will agree with everything I say, and not publicly, but he does. We done had this conversation. I seen a post the other day that somebody put, and I can't remember who the hell done it, but it was, the post basically said there are only 5 real Valiants left in wrestling. And,
What?
Valiants, like Boogie.
I'm trying to figure out how to approach this. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how to approach it. Anyway, basically what it is like, what they were saying is that there's only 5 Valiants left in wrestling. He named them off, all the people who Jimmy Valiant has let him use his name. And they went on to say, well, if anybody else claims to be one, they're all fake. No, you are all fake. There's one Valiant. That's Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. You said all you want to and sit and say, well, we're bad because he lets us use his name and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something about Jimmy Valiant. And you don't know this because all of you know him and all of you have approached him and you've had the discussion with him about using his name. Jimmy Valiant is a businessman.
Yes, he is.
I don't give a damn if you're a wrestler, a tire salesman, or a monkey at the zoo. If you give him the right offer, he'll let you use his last name.
Mm-hmm.
Because man's got bills to pay.
That's right.
So all these people who claim, look, first off, Jimmy Valiant, he might have been a wanderer, but I don't think he's got as many kids as they try to make out that he does. And I guess it just pisses me off. I kind of take it a little personal because these people claim to, to be the only people that Jimmy Valiant let use his name. Well, first off, there could be 100 of you if you really started digging into it over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could name off 5 more right now that's beyond that 5 who also claims that he let him use his name. So, I mean, come on, guys. If you can't, just try to be somewhat original. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's 3 or 4 out of the 5 don't even go to shows anymore unless they buy a ticket.
Right.
So shut the hell up. Jesus Christ.
Let me tell you, I am one of the biggest Jimmy Valiant fans of all time. You guys know that when we did the straight shooting episode with him a few months ago, I was in heaven for 2 hours listening to Jimmy Valiant tell me stories. And what Rick Diesel said about him being a businessman is 100% true. You know what the last thing he said to me after we stopped filming and got up out of there? He turned around and looked at me and he goes, I hope you guys make a lot of money off of this, brother. And that just warmed my heart, man. Like, yes, this is what we're trying to do, is turn a profit here. This is a business. Yeah, it's fun for me to bullshit and talk wrestling. But as a matter of fact, if you want to see that, go on over to the AIWF Network, which is available absolutely free of charge on all ROKU devices. But yeah, I mean, guys, yeah, I can't agree more. Anybody else want to make comments?
Well, I may be just beating a dead horse here, and I may be sounding like a fool, but it does kind of bother me that people act like it's such a small group of people that are allowed to do this.
Right. And that it's an honor.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Right. Like he won't give this name to just anybody. It's like,
Yeah.
well, give him enough money. Yes, he will.
Yes, he will.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're willing to pay this man to use the last name Valiant, if you're willing to do that, then more power to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and but now don't get me wrong. There's some that didn't pay him, and I know it's going to come up if they ever watch this. Oh, well, I didn't pay him. Well, some of you didn't. Some of you did. But the thing about it is it's not as an exclusive group as you make it out
As
to
you
be.
think it is, right?
Right. So, and don't get mad if somebody else does it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I ran into not exactly the same thing, but when I first started wrestling, people would be like, what's your wrestling name? Brian Danzig. Well, why don't you be the Undertaker? You kind of look like the Undertaker. And I'm like, well, there's already an Undertaker. I don't want to be the Undertaker. Right. There already is one.
Oh my God, that reminds me of the very first independent show I ever went to in Greensboro.
Damn it, Reagan beat me to
Grave Digger.
Yes,
I saw
you
Grave
too.
Digger. And he was really, really fat. And when he was doing his sit-up, he had to do that fat person roll to get up.
Reagan, I know who that was.
And Annie or whoever, we just died laughing. It was amazing.
I remember that guy before AIWF ever came to Martinsville, right? There was another group, and I'm not going to name them because I don't want somebody to see this and get all in their feelings. But there was another group that came through and ran like one show at the old Cable 6 studios right outside it, and they had the Grave Digger with them too. And like he would do that bit where he would, yeah, but I mean, you knew he was straight stealing the Undertaker's gimmick. It's like, come on, man.
And first of all, you're not going to do it as well as Mark Callis. You're just not.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do, everybody knows that you're a cheap imitation.
Yeah.
Why do you want to brand yourself as a cheap imitation? I've just never understood that concept.
Yeah, it's been done in wrestling for years, though. Cornette was talking about a couple of weeks ago. There was a promoter, and I can't remember where they promoted at in the Northeast somewhere that would like slightly change the name of big stars. Like instead of Bruno Sammartino, it'd be Bruno Slammartino. They just add a letter here and there to poster to fool people, to get them in the building and stuff like that. So it's not like it's brand new to wrestling. I got one more thing I wanted to kind of run over with you guys. I follow this thing on Twitter called AEW Botches, and they do. That's all they show is people doing reckless moves in AEW and all that kind of stuff. We know that we've seen a lot of strange things on TV in that promotion. A lot of reckless things happen. Not everybody, but do any of y'all have this fear that we're going to see somebody get hurt or killed on TBS at some point with some of the
I've already seen somebody be killed in WWE, so I really can't say.
No, you didn't. They were not on the air when the Owen Hart thing happened. They were showing a promo when that happened.
But I'm still saying I saw the blood on the ring.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
if you know where to look, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nicole Bass rolled around in his blood.
Well, so did the Undertaker,
and so
he freaked out. And
so I'm
like, off of his arm.
I'm not gonna say anything about AEW because WWE continue to pay-per-view with blood on the Owen Hart's blood on the ring.
Yeah, that's true. That was one time maybe the show didn't need to go on. What do you guys think? Do you watch that show and see? I see some reckless stuff on there, but I think it's overblown a lot of times. Yeah. But I do think that, a lot of the swearing on TBS, I can't believe they've gotten away with, because TBS is not the network you associate with F-bombs.
It's probably just the time slot.
Yeah, maybe you can get away with it.
An adult product. I like an adult product. I have always been a little bit weary of wrestling being always called family entertainment.
Yeah, that's gonna make Rick Diesel get all up into.
So like, I understand, like that wrestling in some ways can be family oriented. I agree that it can be like the cartoon aspect of it, but I like an adult wrestling product. Like, if I was to run an organization, I would like to put on a more adult, wrestling product. I prefer the language and the violence. So I like part of that. So that appeals to what I like, but that's just me. I like blood and violence. But that's just kind of my thing.
Hey, I was watching boxing with my dad when I was like 6 years old. So I totally get that, and they never label boxing as family entertainment. They all
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm so sick of people calling it family entertainment. I think because listen, whether you know the business or not, damn it, it's supposed to be based on two guys trying to beat the hell out of each other.
That's right.
One of them pinning the other one's shoulders to the mat for the win. They use chairs, punches, chains, dog collars. Stop portraying it as family entertainment. Just goddamn call it wrestling and then let the parents choose if they want their kids to watch it. Like if you go out here and you see two guys beating each other's ass in the goddamn back alley, they're not going to go, oh, a kid might be watching, so let's don't call each other a son of a bitch. I mean, come on in. Calling it family entertainment takes the goddamn realism away from it. And damn it, that's the problem with the son of shit anymore. There's no goddamn realism anymore.
Somebody lit a fuse.
I knew when.
I have an interesting point about the language. Years ago, when Louis Theroux came to do a Weird Weekend with us, I was talking to him about we had a TV show in Mount Airy, and we were talking. I don't remember what we were talking about, and I was like, "Well, we have to watch our language because of the TV show. We can't use bad language." I was like, we could say a damn or a hell, but we can't go much farther than that. And he was like, so they'll let you show each other setting each other on fire, dropping each other in thumbtacks, raking you across barbed wire and throwing you through tables. They don't have a problem with that, but they won't let you use bad language. And I was like, yeah, that is very strange, because in England and other countries they don't have that same stigma, on language or even like nudity. It's just like it's not that big of a deal. It's like we're much more repressed society here in the U.S. But yeah, it just blew his mind that the violence that they would allow on TV, but not bad language. That just that just shocked him.
It is strange,
and it should.
And it is shocking.
I think that a wrestling show on TV should have a disclaimer at the first of it, or just anything that says, "Hey, we ask our wrestlers to try not to use bad language. If they do, we will beep it out," because they are human and they are in a fight.
Yep.
I mean, that's the way it should be portrayed. It shouldn't be portrayed as a goddamn kids show, a damn cartoon, or I know that everybody knows the business now, but still,
well, they think they do.
Fans want that freaking break from reality.
Yeah. Well,
they want to see these guys do things that they can't do themselves in their living room. That's why they watch Justin Flash. I mean, because not everybody can do what Justin Flash does.
Not many can.
The thing about it is that's what it should be. And in the AIWF Mid Atlantic, I mean, we've always tried to keep it to that as much as possible. To where there's some sort of freaking reality
mean, because
Do it.
like, just think about how much NWA changed from NWA to WCW all the way to the part where Dustin Rhodes lost his job because he juiced in that stupid 18-wheeler match.
Yeah.
And before that, when they did the in 1989, not long after Turner bought the company, when they did the plastic bag angle with Ric Flair and Sting and Muta and Dick Slater at the Clash of Champions, and then Jim Cornette was talking about how they got a memo on Monday morning saying they didn't want any gratuitous violence on the wrestling program. Well, that's the wrestling program's about. That's what the show is. It's gratuitous
and that's the first time Daniel
Competitive
Bryan got
violence.
fired from WWE was he was choking Michael Cole, right?
No, he was choking the ring announcer, Justin Roberts.
Okay, so he poked somebody and he got fired.
Mhm.
I mean,
Have you seen that video though? That's pretty intense, man. It did look like he was trying to commit a murder.
I mean, that Justin, like you said, Justin Flash just took his kids to a WWE show. So what's his take?
Yeah, Flash. What's your take?
I don't mind language. I don't like when it goes too overboard and it's just like you're at a bar and two drunken people are just slinging slurs until the fists start swinging. But I mean, I can understand you dropping some language in there, showing your aggression. And I mean, you get ready to go into a fight with somebody, but I don't know. I'm kind of on both ends of this.
You don't have to go on a tirade. I think it's what you're getting at, right?
Yes,
if an F-bomb or an S-bomb slips in there, hey, it's the heat of the moment, but you don't have to go on.
You can blame that on the FCC. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can say, hey, if you're on TV, on the internet, nobody cares. No. But if you're on TV, you use the FCC to your advantage. Say, well, we have to keep preaching to these guys about language because in the heat of the moment, in the middle of a fight, you never know what might slip out. So, we tell them not to do it not because kids are watching, but because we don't want to get fined.
Right. And you could say, if you do it too many times, they're going to pull you off of TV.
Right.
It doesn't matter how good of a fighter you are. If you're using too much bad language and you're going to get us fined, we're not going to put you on TV.
And that's how they can, play it off that they're controlling the wrestlers like that.
But I would just rather than beep it. I mean, I would just rather, if they can't say it, beep it. Because like we were watching an AWA and it was Nick Bockwinkel and Kurt Hennig, and they were fighting for their title. And Kurt Hennig cheated and blah, blah, blah. And Nick Bockwinkel said GD. And they just beat out the G God part. And then he said, damn. And I was like, and just bleep that part out, and let him say the language and, and have it be more authentic. Because I can't stand it when you're standing there and you're sweaty and you're mad and you've been fighting and you're bloody and you're and I'm gonna kick that butt. And I'm like,
I'm gonna kick your behind.
Yeah, because NWA, they're I'm gonna kick your tail.
Yeah,
one end of the ring to the other.
Yeah,
Buster.
But the thing about it is they try to. They have tried so hard to sell dolls and T-shirts to kids that they've turned it into a cartoon. Well, and I'm surprised Nickelodeon ain't picked up, SmackDown.
Yeah, and if
they have the NFL.
But that's I will give that show Slime Time on Nickelodeon is a great way to promote to kids, man, the NFL. I mean, but they don't shy away from the violence of the game. They just jazz it up with some graphics and special effects and try to keep it light. I wish NASCAR would do some type of show like that. If you guys have not seen NFL Slime Time, it comes on Wednesday nights on Nickelodeon. You got to see it. It's just amazing to me, like from a television perspective, how they take this violent sport and are able to cater it toward kids to make kids interested in it, because I don't know about your kids, Justin Flash, but I've had other parents tell me that when that show comes on, that's the only time their kids will watch anything about football, or when they have the special games on Nickelodeon where they add the slime special effects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's a place for kids at wrestling. There's a place for kids at NASCAR. There's a place for kids at boxing and the UFC, but don't call it family entertainment. Did it make you mad, Rick Diesel, back in the day when Jim Crockett would be like, oh yeah, we're going to have fireworks at the Great American Bash and country and Western band. It'll be fun for the entire family. So bring grandma and grandpa and the kids and come on out and have a good time. Does that bother you, or just the statement family entertainment? Because I like to encourage people to bring your kids to the shows.
No, the thing about it is when Crockett done it, he was saying bring the kids and grandma and grandpa because we're having fireworks and country music.
Yeah.
And we're going to sprinkle some wrestling in there too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they was promoting to the kids. But
something for everyone.
Yes, something for everyone. That's what it was. But don't portray professional wrestling as family entertainment when you take 2 guys or 4 guys or girls or in between. I don't know. But anyway, you put them in the ring and their sole purpose is to beat each other up. That is not family entertainment. And if it is, if that's what your family, if that's the entertainment you want your family to have, perfect. Let the parents choose. Justin Flash chose to take his kids to a WWE show. Good for him. Good for the kids. But the thing about it is the parents should be the ones to decide. That the promoters should not shit on the goddamn business as what it's always meant to be portrayed as, and that is a physical fight between 2 or 4 people trying to win, to climb a ladder to a goal, which is a title, whatever. But they shouldn't portray, because you can't go to a bar and pick a fight and say, all right, now let's just keep this family oriented. That's not the way it should be. These guys are supposed to, and it takes the realism away from it. And that's always pissed me off. But keep in mind, I was mentored by Wahoo McDaniel, Ivan Koloff, Buddy Landale, Ricky Morton. So those are the guys that mentored me, the guys who actually made people believe that it was a fight for most of their careers.
And drew huge numbers of people to every town they went to.
Yes.
So there's a difference between being trained and mentored by Joe Blow over here in Kannapolis as opposed to Dr. Tom Pritchard,
right?
Wahoo McDaniel, Buddy Landell, Ricky Morton. Ricky Morton, you can't get much better than that. TW Rose, you were trying to jump in there while Rick Diesel was on his family entertainment rant. What did you want to add?
I agree with everything Rick Diesel is saying. And they are even trying to take out the fans' realism. I remember back watching ECW and frickin' that match between John Cena and RVD. The fans were literally chanting "F you, Cena."
Yes, they were. I remember that night.
And now WWE blurs out a "Holy shit" chant.
Yeah. Well, you're right. But in that same vein, only the opposite direction. In the 80s, if Dusty Rhodes said hell in a promo, they would bleep it. You don't believe me? Go on Peacock and watch Mid Atlantic Wrestling. So.
But that's the networks doing it. You know what I'm saying? That was because of the TV show. I guarantee you that if Crockett had his way about it, Dusty Rhodes could have said hell, hell, hell all day long. But they had to cater to the networks, and people understood that.
Yeah.
But now, if you went to the Greensboro Coliseum, you don't hear Dusty Rhodes say hell,
and so a lot more than that too.
Right? Really exactly, because the TV networks didn't have any control over the show. That was all Crockett. That was all Crockett and his people.
Yes.
And they knew what them fans wanted to see. And if some guy looks at like Mid Flash is in a goddamn match, and I look at Flash and say, I'm getting ready to kick your ass, you goddamn little short son of a bitch. Hey. He was gonna be like, oh yeah, them boys gonna fight. Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Damn short.
You know what I'm saying?
I heard
this. Flash jumps off goddamn top rope. I can't do that with him, but but that's how you play the game.
Yes, I've to put this as mildly as I can. I heard Dusty Rhodes a time or two in front of a live audience take the Lord's name in vain. So, Flair too. So it was no telling what you would hear.
Dusty Rhodes. I've seen Dusty Rhodes more than once be in a sleeper, have his hand drop once, drop twice.
I know what you're
third one.
And then he would wiggle it. So everybody on all four sides of the ring could see what was going on. And the place would blow, man.
Would go crazy.
Yes.
So Matt, the AWA match that we were trying to find the other night, when I sent you that picture of the two football players wrestling.
Yes.
We were looking for a Wahoo and Kurt Hennig strap match in the AWA that was on ESPN. And they were in a strap match, and Wahoo was lighting up Kurt Hennig, and he screamed at the top of his lungs. Sorry for you Christians out there. God was right. God damn it! At the top of his lungs. And it was amazing because you could tell Wahoo was lighting him up with that strap. So that's what I was trying to find, but instead I found that the AWA team challenge, two guys wearing football uniforms and trying to get a ball in a soccer net from one corner to the next.
Every time Reagan sends me a picture of something like that, my first question is always, why do you torture yourself?
And what do I say?
I love bad wrestling.
Well, and I know that this day and age, people like the clown shows. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They've been brought up in it. A lot of fans who've been watching WWE since mid 2000s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they literally had clowns.
Well, they had clowns all the way back in the 90s.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people like that, and it has its place. Don't get me wrong. It has its place, just like, the flippity floppity. The only thing don't have its freaking place is slapping the leg, but we won't go there. But anyway,
no, Lucha Libre has a place because that comes from AAA and CMLL. That comes from that it's not done well in America.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I'll put it that way. It's not done well in America. But as a tradition of Lucha Libre, from honest to God Mexican wrestling, it has a place.
I'll give you that. I'll concede that one to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, boy, we got fired up at the end just when I thought we were going to run out of topics. They got fired up.
I love me some Lucha Libre. I will watch actual Mexican wrestling like in Spanish. So
yeah. So. All right. Well, guys, any final thoughts before we get out of here? Because we are about an hour and a half at this point.
Oh, yeah. That gets us in trouble, don't it?
Yeah. Well, we run out of audio time before the end of the billing cycle on the podcast.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. I'm done, Matt. God bless. I'm done.
Well, TW Rose, thank you for coming on the show. I know it's your first time on here and kind of giving us an idea of what we can look forward to. We'll find out more Saturday night. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. You're welcome here anytime. Justin Flash, always good to have you here. You got a plethora of experience and know-how and all that kind of stuff and really add a lot to the conversation.
And Brian, one of the best in the AIWF.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Thank you, Megan.
Yeah. And so Brian Danzig, Reagan, Pagan, whatever,
you gonna say it.
Reagan
Pagan, and Commissioner Rick Diesel. Thanks everybody for being a part of the panel. Thank you guys for watching. Keep supporting the YouTube channel, man. It is just doing things that we never thought possible for a promotion our size. So thank you so much for that support as well. That's all for this week, everybody. Be sure to come out and join us 5 o'clock bell time. We're still doing the winter hours this weekend. 5 o'clock bell time. We can see my hand. There we go. 5. That many fingers. 5. That's what time the bell rings for our first event. Probably actually be about 5:06, but be there. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock bell time. Still doing the winter hours. And it's going to be a blast. Big 8-man tag, and no telling what else you're going to see. And we know TW Rose and Kevin Phoenix Cochran III have a big announcement for us. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But
And
y'all
then,
won't want to miss. You won't want to miss that, guys.
oh boy.
Did he buy you that shirt? Is he buying your wardrobe now?
I mean, I can't disclose any of that information either.
That's a yes. That's a
Yes.
yes. That's a yes. I was going to say, did he slaughter that zebra himself or did he buy that somewhere? But
Here, take the black card.
Metal one.
what the hell? All right. But anyway, all right, folks, we better get out of here on that one because the YouTube.
I'll see all of y'all on Saturday.
Yeah.
Same here,
All right.
guys.
Later, guys.
Y'all have a great one. See
That's
you
all
then.
for this
You
week,
too.
fans. That's all for this week, wrestling fans. We'll see you next week. And until next time, so long for now.